A frustrating afternoon in the Fratton Park sun. There was no way through for Danny Cowley's side yesterday afternoon. Back-to-back stalemates means Pompey are yet to win a league game after 290 minutes of this new campaign. Elsewhere in League One this weekend, we had two 4-0 scorelines, one for Bristol Rovers and one in Exeter City's favour. Charlton beat Derby 1-0 at the Valley. Fleetwood responded to a Ryan Hardy penalty to beat Plymouth 2-1. Ipswich, Oxford and Sheffield Wednesday all registered their first wins of the season. And as a result, Peterborough, the only side with a 100% record in the division, Burton Albion are rock bottom, having conceded 7 goals in the 2 opening fixtures. Tonight we will look back on our return to home comforts as well as look ahead to the 2 upcoming games for Pompey this week. Strap yourselves in, it's a busy show here tonight on 4-0 Sunday Live. Hello there everybody, good evening, thank you for being with us. It's just gone 7 o'clock, hope you're all doing really well. A very good evening to you all and a very good evening to my guests as well. Hello gents, how are we? Welcome along. Retro Shirt, Sean's here, Gaz is here all the way from Malta, Richard's here as well. Sean, how are you? Looking great with the, I think, is that last season's, what's it? Training?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Last season's what's it? Training top, yeah, that's it.
That's the one. Gaz, how are we doing, mate?
Yeah, good. Yeah. It's been a nice sunny day here in Malta. The missus put some new flowers up there today, so I thought I'd get them in the stream for
Lovely.
Keep her happy.
They look wonderful, mate. Rich, you got any new flowers up anywhere, mate, in your house?
No flowers, mate. Water ban, isn't it? No point in buying flowers.
I don't know if you've heard about that, Gaz. We're not allowed to use hose pipes in this country anymore. We, they've stopped us from doing those. So there we go.
Yeah, I heard about that, and then I looked at the forecast. You got rain coming your way, so it's like typical England, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. But no, things are looking good. It's going to be warm in Wales, everybody. It's going to be warm in Wales. Anyway, good evening to everyone. Welcome along. How are we doing? Setty's here. The Young Fan Podcast is in the stream. Hello, you. Thank you for being with us. Gemma's here as well. Good evening to Gemma. Kobe came from the Instagram live, and good evening to Dylan as well. And good evening to Jake, who is going to join us very shortly. Well, there's only one place to start, gentlemen. 3 of us in the stream were there to witness it. Lincoln City at home. Sean, not the overwhelming, amazing barnstormer we're expecting for a Fratton return, but we didn't concede a goal and we didn't lose the game.
No, we were solid at the back, which was good. And I didn't think Lincoln posed too many threats to us. It was just the fact it was a bit frustrating going forward. There wasn't much in the way of creativity. And what we did create, Lincoln were able to deal with. So it was a frustrating frustrating day at the office, as they say. It was just, it was not what we wanted. We wanted to get our season off to a nice blistering start, create a lot of goals, lots of chances. But we did have a fair few chances yesterday. We just couldn't put them away. The keepers were on form.
Unfortunately, Gaz, it wasn't the barnstormer that we had at the tail end of the Hillsborough game at Sheffield Wednesday. Nonetheless, I mean, it's a point to build on, isn't it? But did it feel like to you that it was more like 2 points dropped?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I watched it on iFollow, and obviously the sense of occasion. Obviously, Fratton Park. Obviously, the fans are coming back and they're seeing this. The sort of the upgrade of Fratton Park. So the occasion was quite bigged up, wasn't it? As well as the game. Obviously Lincoln, they played well. They frustrated a lot of the play, and they did what they came to do. They just they wanted to shut up the fans, etc. But it was 2 points dropped because they're the sort of games we're going to look back on in the season where we've dropped points, and that's going to be let's just see where we go for the end of the season, isn't it?
We've got a very special guest who I wasn't expecting to be joining us this evening, but he has jumped on. So we're going to come to him in just a moment. Before we do so, Rich, you were there. Obviously, you were right by our side. Anything that you wanted to build on that you said? I mean, you mentioned the star Dane Scarlett. I think we'll speak about him in a little bit, but just a general reaction. I think that the word was frustrating, wasn't it?
It was frustrating, but I think the first 15, 20 minutes or so, we played like we did at the end of the Wednesday match. With desire to go forward, and to start hunting for the goals. But then it went very flat. And looking on the stats on the BBC, it said we had 16 shots. only about 4 or so on target. But I thought 16. I can't remember seeing 16 shots, unless it was
Feels
because
like
I was still coming back from the toilet or what. I don't know in the second half. But it just didn't feel. We could have played. I think we say this quite often. You could play for another 90 minutes and probably still not get anywhere near the goal. But as we say when we talk about Scarlett and Curtis coming on, that's when things started to change. That's when the impetus sort of picked back up again. And, we did look good. I thought, the closing, say 15 minutes,
Let's bring Mike into the conversation. He joins us live from his front room. How are you, sir? Welcome along.
Oh.
We have a bit of a problem, Mike. We can't hear you.
Where's Brendan when you need him?
Where's Brendan when you need him? If you want to take out your headphones, Mike, we might be able to hear you. But I tell you what, we can't hear a word he's saying. We'll leave Mike with us and let him get his. Oh, Rich has gone as well. They're dropping like flies. Let's go to a comment quickly from Gav, who said, "Good evening, gents. What's your opinion on Lowry and who do you see him coming in for, especially when Morel comes back from injury?" Sean, that was one that kind of took us by surprise on Friday night. But Tom Lowry is now with us at the football club. Your thoughts?
Exciting. He's another sort of diminutive midfielder, quite passes the ball, but quite creative. He's a bit of the Joe Morel sort of figure. So I wonder whether he will be sort of the one in, one out for Joe Morel if Joe Morel can't play. And then you've got the pack Thompson swapping over whenever that one of them can't play. I do see Thompson backing up Pack. And again, hopefully this young chap Lowry backing up Morel when we haven't got him around. I didn't realise as well, him and our other signing today, have played a while back at Crewe, so they know each other quite well. So hopefully there's an instant sort of relationship there which will speed things up for us.
Before we come on to the relationship that will pose, and I think it's really important that we get that conversation going. Rich, your thoughts on Rico Hackett-Fairchild yesterday? He wasn't at it down the near side when we saw him at Fratton Park, was he?
He wasn't, and let's say when I was obviously at the side of your dad, he was saying he's very negative. Didn't ever seem to want the ball. He was sort of hesitating to go and get the ball. And when he actually had it, he had a couple of good crosses, didn't he, at the start? Then he had his chance that he, skied over the top. But he got put in place because Danny Cowley said on his interview that, he performed well during training and he was, really fit, so deserved the chance. So you think if you deserve the chance, you need to perform when you do get the chance. And I think with what Curtis has got, and we know what ability he's got, maybe he won't be there for the Cheltenham game. Maybe Hackett's, on the bench himself, and Curtis is starting a game. So it's, I think it's a bit of give and take, isn't it? If you're going to perform, you got to make sure you do perform well on match day.
Mike, take two. Let's give this a go. How are you? No, we still can't hear it. That's a disaster. That's not gone well. Mike, pull your wires out of your phone, and then we might be able to just do it through your. No, we can't.
How's that any better?
There we go. Result. Amazing.
Is that working?
How are you?
That's perfect.
Well, I'm fine, lads. I've just had a lovely 2-week cruise around the Baltic. So it's good to see you all, but I'm back and refreshed and back to work tomorrow.
Oh, it's not good, is it? It's not good at all. Did you manage to catch any of the highlights or hear it on the radio or watch the game from the weekend?
Yeah, I've got 10 minutes into the game and I listened to it on my radio as I sorted out the washing from the suitcases for the wife to do. So I listened all the way through. It's just what us blokes do. So leave it for the wife to do. And it's all dry. It's all ready to iron for tomorrow when I'm at work. She can do it. But yeah, I've listened to the game. I've seen the highlight. Well, not that there was much to look at, was there really? Quite a disappointing game. But I did see the Wednesday highlights and Sheffield Wednesday game, and I saw some people tumbling down the back of the stand. A lot of bodies flying all over the place. So yes, interesting, lovely videos though. I mean, some cracking videos.
Cracking videos. Adam did say his mic was off. His mic was indeed off, but there we go. Thanks for that. I quite like that. Let's throw this one at you then. Gaz, do we need a change of formation against Lincoln? Not enough going forward. It was all sideways, backwards and passing. I'd like to add to that what Isaac's saying. The whole word about gelling, and we need this team to gel. The quicker we gel, the quicker it is, isn't it? Because otherwise we're going to lose pace quite quickly.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. And we're already hearing, not excuses, but Cowley's saying, it's a new group of players, So I know we've had, and to be fair, we've had a fantastic in my opinion, window from previous years. You know, we've got some great players at this squad, at this club now, and there's no reason why they can't gel. There's no reason why we can't push on. So yeah, for me, midfield at the moment, that's an area where I'd like to sort of because it looked at, for me, looking at on the telly, a bit defensively. I thought, you know, if we had gone maybe Jacobs in the middle and a bit more of a playmaker in the middle, we could have done a lot more. But you know, yeah, we've got a gel. We've got obviously these new signings that have come in with literally within 7 days. But yeah, so we've got Cardiff, you know, as a cup game, but then Cheltenham at the weekend. So these are games that we've got to be winning these. There's got to be 3 points next weekend. I know we're all confident in 3 points, but yeah, let's gel. Let's get them back on the training field. Let's get these new boys bled in, and I can see promising things in the future.
Amazing. Sorry if you couldn't hear Gaz for a little part. Was he sort of a little bit fluffy or whatever, or was he? Are we okay? I think we're all right. Sean, you look like you're there and your internet is nice and strong, so we're going to come to you. Oh my word, what's happening here? Oh no, we're all good. We're all good. Technical problem central here. Swanson instead of Rafferty.
I totally agree with that. Rafferty,
yeah, definitely.
But Swanson gives us a bit more of an attacking threat. And the problem with the game at against Lincoln was the fact that we had nothing coming down the flanks. You know, at the start, it was just Rico wasn't timing his runs right. He wasn't able to get down the wings nicely. And on the other side, the threat we did have from Jacobs, he created our chances. And I totally agree with Gaz. He should come into the middle of the park, and we'd have been a much more strong force there. You know, if we have our first team, who I think, you know, personally, I'd have Swanson at the right back. I'll be thinking then of this new chap on the right wing. I would play Jacobs out on the left, and obviously Joe Morrell in the middle with Pack. And then suddenly you've got that creativity going forward and that attacking threat. Yes, Rafferty can come on and be a good solid right back if we're defending. Same with Volgeby, you know, on the left. But I think we're at that point in the season at the minute. Not all the players are quite there. Not all of them are fit. And Danny's just sort of feeling his way as these players come in. He did say he wanted to know ideally at the start of pre-season, but unfortunately we haven't been that. And I think we're going to see over the next few games that formation establishing itself. It's just going to take a little while.
I don't know if Rich is still with us. If he is, I'll throw a question at him. That dynamic in midfield between Pack and Thompson, Gaz is saying it there and Sean's alluding to it, is too similar, isn't it? And it can't work with two, not defensive-minded players, but they're not exactly the most out-and-out attacking forces, are they? So what would you say is a quick fix for obviously Cardiff's going to involve a lot of changes, but Cheltenham at the weekend? He's not there, is he? He's gone completely. Right, and so this is going really well. Let's go with some stats. Let's have a look. I'm really hoping it's not my internet and it's everyone else. Right, so pretty even on the possession. Expected goals, Pompey dominating that. Not an awful lot from a Lincoln City point of view. But we've also got one big chance that Lincoln could not convert. Pompey did not have any whatsoever. There's your shots. Richard said it a minute ago. There's 16 shots. I can't remember Pompey registering 16 shots. No shots on target for the visitors. You can see the dominance and expected goals there. Well, what better man to talk about the visitors than Jake from the Stacy West podcast? And we should have plugged him. Earlier on, but we didn't plug him last week, so we're definitely going to plug him now. We'll say now, Jake, give us a big old introduction. Where can we go and see your stuff? Where are we subscribing to?
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you very much for having me back on, Tom. Good to see you all yesterday. I recognise some of the faces. Stacy West podcast over on YouTube. We just uploaded a review of the game yesterday, which from our point of view was pretty positive. So if you can come and give us a sub, that would be much appreciated, Thomas.
So what did you think? You told me that you felt like you deserved that point that you ran away with from Fratton. Do you want to elaborate? Tell us a little bit more.
I thought that we were defensively very sound. I think I listened to Danny Cowley post-match. He said that you could tell Lincoln were a lot fitter than the last time we came to Fratton Park, which was a couple of months ago. And look, I know, I understand you guys that were frustrated, but I think that was probably because of the defensive work that Mark Kennedy has installed into this team. We hardly allowed you any shots on goal. If it did, Carl Rushworth was everything stuck. So, we weren't massively worried in terms of you guys coming forward. It was just our issue was similar to yours actually, was getting a chance and putting it in the back of the net, which we didn't manage to do. We thought we did, but it turns out we didn't. But no, I thought we were very much well deserved of a point, and I understand you guys are frustrated, but I think the celebrations in the away end at full time probably were just about justified.
Did you get your clap? Did he come on over?
But Danny, yeah, do you know what? Not like last year, which I suppose it's good because we have a new manager who we're now invested in as much as we were Danny Cowley. So it's good to respect that he was our manager and was great for us. But you have to move on with the times. If Kenny Jackett came back to Fratton Park, would you be giving him a clap?
Oh God!
No.
There's him. Yeah,
a really good day out. Good to see you all, and take a point. Good point. Fratton Park will be a hard place to come in. And the good thing is you guys haven't gelled yet, as you guys keep talking about, because once you do click, that first 20 minutes we saw that you guys could outpass us, you could outrun us, you could get through on the goal. So, yeah, good time to play Pompey, I think it was.
You've heard it there, Rich.
I think I think if we just put in Jake, that's your player Sorensen. He was absolutely class. I thought he was everywhere around that pitch. 1 minute, even though he's midfield, 1 minute you thought he was centre back, then he was centre forward, and he just got around the park for for a good part of the game. And I thought he was a key player. Certainly the good link player for yourselves. Yeah.
He touching on last. He's come on such a lot from last year. Hardly featured under Appleton. And this year we've got a new head of performance, or a new strength and conditioning coach, and he's really put the work in, and you can tell he's been fantastic these first 2 games. So hopefully he has a good year and we can send him on for a bit of money in the summer.
Couldn't use our possession wisely is key there, Sean. I think that's really important, and it's interesting to hear it from a Lincoln City fan. I've got a lot of time and respect for Jake, but for them to feel like it's a 0-0 and it's a point gain for them, that says an awful lot about Fratton Park, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And I think Lincoln should be proud because they did. Our only threat was Jacobs, and they dealt with him. As soon as they identified it in the second half, that's where they stopped our play, and that's when we got frustrated. They were fit. Sorensen, I echo what Richard said. He was all over the pitch, I think Lincoln, our defense will be defensively solid. They'll be hard to break down. So I think we'll see how they do over the season. I can't see where their goal threats are coming from, but at least being solid at the back is something.
Gaz, what were your impressions of the Lincoln City side that we saw yesterday?
Yeah, I thought they were good. And if that was like maybe last season, the season before, that's a game we could have lost. Because they, it's like game management, isn't it? I thought, that Sorensen was good in midfield. Defensively, they were solid. Like Sean alluded to, up front, they didn't give us that much problems. I think they'll do well this season.
And Mike, we mentioned a couple of weeks ago, and we mentioned it last week, how Ogilvy and Pack are kind of different levels to what we've seen before, and maybe that's a bit of the Championship experience talking from Pack. What's been your overall impression of this Pompey squad so far, and how quickly do you feel like we can gel?
Well, I think Danny knows what he wants. I'm sure he has ever since he's joined the club, but it just takes time to get the players in that he wants. He seems to be going for a lot of youth coming into the team. All right, Morrison is a bit of an elder statesman, but he's been around a bit. He's been in the Championship. He knows what's what. Using his experience and Pack's experience, and even Joe Morale's experience from where he plays with the international squad. And I think the gel will come. I don't think anybody could expect it to happen straight away. And they're still adding to the squad. So they've got this Owen Dale coming. So we need to gel him into the team, and most probably someone else coming in. So it will take time. Just briefly on what I heard and saw on the highlights about yesterday about Lincoln's team. Yes, they have got their defensive sorted out, but they also, as the lads just mentioned, that they've snaffled out Jacobs. Now, if other teams have watched and seen that game, they will also know that Crackers is the one that they've got to try and close down a bit. So we've got to have other options ready on the bench or in the team to be able to counteract that. So gelling the team will be one part of it, but actually getting another person who can do what Jacob does, to feed the ball through onto the person on goal, like the two new lads that we've got up front, Figure and Bishop. So it will take time and it will come, I'm sure.
You just mentioned it there, Mike. Owen Dale was revealed today. Jake, stay right there. I'd like to get your views on this as well. I'm gonna play the I'm gonna play the video that was released at lunchtime today, which many of you may have seen. But this is how Pompey announced the signing of Owen Dale. Take a look. Stupendous stuff. Amazing work. Jake, just in terms of with your EFL journalist hat on, if you will, Owen Dale is a signing for Pompey, someone that you think will fit in nicely to the Danny Cowley furniture.
Yeah, I think so. A really attacking wide player, which based off yesterday's performance from you guys, you look like you missed a little bit of a Marcus Harness about him. Very direct, likes to run at fullbacks and take them on. Had a bit of an attitude issue from what I've been told by Crew supporters and people at Crew. So that's why he was shipped off to Blackpool, but didn't really get an eye in at Blackpool, and clearly Appleton isn't really fanciful of him. So I imagine a loan to a top League One club like Pompey, where he's going to get minutes, you'd expect, to terrorise League One defenders. I think it'd be a good move for the player and for the football club.
Thanks, Jake. Really appreciate that. Enjoy the rest of your season. We will see you for the reverse fixture, I'm sure. We'll see you in person. Going to night out in Lincoln, mate. Let's get it organised. Thanks for spending a bit of time with us. Thanks for coming over and seeing us yesterday as well. And thanks for your time on here tonight.
Yes, Tom. Thank you very much. See you later, guys.
All the best, Jake.
Take care, mate.
Yeah. Take care.
Really exciting news, Rich, actually, Owen Dale. I don't know how you felt. I think your initial reaction was hope he plays at Cardiff, is what you messaged me.
Yeah, I think he would. I'm sure he would do, wouldn't he? You know what I mean? Because they're not going to have a super strong side, I don't think, for Cardiff. Not with the Cheltenham game coming up. I know it's very early on in the season, but good introduction for him, isn't it? You know, young lad, pacey. You know, I say we need. It all depends what strength team that Cardiff put out. You know, we know Steve mentioned a couple of weeks when they put a strong team up at Shrewsbury. You know, they were good, strong, and played well. So, is it something that we need to push for, the Carabao Cup? You know, I say it is minutes under the belt, isn't it, for the players? But I think we need to sort of introduce the players who are on the bench.
Can I just interject there?
Give them minutes and get their fitness up.
Have Cardiff just signed the bloke from Tottenham, another striker, was it Ateti, that we wanted to sign? So if he plays on Tuesday night, I hope he don't do our legs.
No, let's hope not. Let's hope that's not the case. Sean, I wanted to mention, I've seen a couple of comments about it, and I wanted to say just quickly as well, 1898 Bible, who are a member from yesterday, we were walking along, I was filming the outro, and we had a picture, we had a chat. So nice to see you yesterday, and thank you for coming onto the stream as you said you would. Do we fancy a cheeky cup run was what I was going to say. Before we do that, and before we move on to start talking about the Cardiff game, Jay Mingy deserves a bit of a mention, and he only had a short time on the pitch, granted. Very impressive, as Rich said in the video, as was Dane Scarlett, but particularly Jay Mingy. I thought he had a really class 20 minutes or so.
He did. He had a lot of creativity about him. I thought he came on his lot of pace. But again, I don't see how he doesn't seem to fit into the midfield that Danny Cowley is developing. That's my concern. So who would you take out to get him in the side? And does he offer enough to warrant a first team place? Those are the questions that are, with the players that he signed. And it's the same with Jay Mingy, Curtis and Hackett. Those are the three vulnerable ones in our squad, I think, at the minute, because I can't see how they fit into the play that Danny Cowley's developing.
I saw a tweet on Twitter that says there were no replays of chances on the big screen. Maybe that's because there weren't any yesterday. Gaz, I wanted to ask you, Dad said to me he wasn't convinced about our goalkeeper, Josh Griffiths, and defensive and distribution-wise, wasn't very pleased. But as Sean said in the video, everything that was challenged of him, he caught and he dealt with. So where do you stand?
Yeah, I mean, the guy's just bedding in, isn't he? The problem is that the fans have got this Bazzuno sort of mentality. He's a young guy coming in, and he's just got to solidify his place. I thought he played all right yesterday. He didn't do anything massively bad. Obviously, there was a bit of a communication breakdown a couple of times because I noticed that we gave corners away when we were passing it back to him. So there was a bit of a lack of communication between, I think it was Williams and Raggett at one point. So we gave two corners away, which we could have conceded. But yeah, I'm more than happy with him at the back. Let him bed in and let's see how we gets on for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. Rich, what did you make of the new look Fratton Park yesterday and all the new seats and the kiosks and all the new bits and bobs and even the paint that was hanging off from the ceiling above us?
Well, luckily enough, I've seen a video to say that they're going to do the paint. Obviously, that's the next phase. But I thought they might have all, got it all scraped back and repainted for the big day. It was noticeable difference, wasn't it? When we came out, it was all sort of walk around. You could drop down from the top down into the obviously to the exit area, no problems whatsoever. But yeah, I think one thing I didn't like was the seating. We did notice that less space, less leg room.
I think we're having a bit of an issue. We can't. Richard, would you mind having a bit of a refresh and coming back to us with issues on the line? But we'll be back with you in a moment. Sean, tell me about your experience, if you don't mind. Try and save this live stream before we will have to come off air in embarrassment. Go on.
I thought the old girl looked good. She hasn't looked that loved in the past sort of time I've been going there. The fact that you could go in now and just the entrances were all nice and wide. It felt fresh. It felt open. I think they've been very clever about what they've done on the way in and the way out, just to give the feel of a bit more space. It is an old stadium. It is quite tight, and what they've done has been very clever to open up certain areas with the U-shaped bars and things, and it did come across really well. When the play wasn't that great, the stadium emptied very quickly.
Yes, which is kind of a good news from a crowd control point of view, but at the same time, you don't really want people leaving their seats too early, do you?
Tom,
Gaz, you must be... Hello.
Tom, can I just mention that obviously Brendan was there, but also my other son, Connell, and he went to the kiosk before half-time, 5 minutes before half-time, and had to come away when the second half started without getting a drink, without getting some food or anything. It seems in the north lower that it's absolutely rammed. Some people said it might be dangerous. There was a video I saw online on one of the Facebook pages, but there doesn't seem to be enough room or concessions still within the north stand. I will obviously wait till my next home game that I can attend and see that. But yeah, it wasn't particularly brilliant. But I heard the south stand was actually quite good, better than it normally was. So one's gone down, one's gone up. The leg room in the north, you've got about 2 inches in front of your knees, before you get to the back of the seat, in front, or the back of the seat in front of you, and you seem to have lost it up in the south. So you've gained and lost, and we've gained and lost.
I think we had a little wander, didn't we, while Richard was heading off to the toilet, Sean. We went for a little walk round, and I thought it was relatively good, and things were running pretty smoothly down there at half time in the south stand.
Yeah, the south stand did look good. I'm thinking, if my memory serves me correct, didn't they say that some of the bars in the north stand weren't going to be ready for this game? I think they're still reduced. I think there was on the video that Andy Cullen did. He did mention that it wasn't all open yet, and they were looking at putting TVs in certain places, and they're looking at some of the actual kiosks didn't have all the serving points put in. So I do think there is work being done there. But the South Stand did look good, and everyone seemed to get a drink, from where we were, and it all seemed to be queuing quite nicely. You could walk down the middle of the South Stand with the queues either side. It was quite nice, actually, rather than have to push people through.
Rich, by your experience, all South Stand get a big thumbs up from you?
Yeah, big thumbs up. I say the only as where we've lost the depth of the seating of leg room. I say that's the only negative for myself, really. But for the overall view is perfect. Where they're going to take that, the commentary tower? That they go up to do the video, and what you said, they're going to obviously take that away. It's perfect, isn't it? It's nice to see, and it's nice to see that when you look down into the lower section, everybody's on the nice incline, all coming up instead of them being, in that sort of dugout dropout thing. And I think it'll help for the atmosphere. I don't think the atmosphere yesterday was that good with regards, because it was quite a dull game. But I can see it on a night when there's plenty of goals going in. The place will be absolutely rocking.
Gaz, you must be so excited for an outsider looking in, and I can imagine Pompey fans on the stream all around the world are thinking, "Wow, Fratton Park finally up with the times a little bit," which is good.
Yeah, I watched the Cullen video on YouTube, and obviously doing the tours and stuff like that. You can just see the work and the investment that's gone in. Obviously, fans have to be a bit patient about what's happening and stuff like that. We've got to get the old girl back up to some sort of standard, and it looked great. And what I was listening to on iFollow, the place was buzzing. So it looks like fans are happy. The team just needs to give them something. That's all.
That's it. That's all we need, isn't it? And then we'll be rocking and rolling. Last week we had a little look at a bit of a, what did we call it? 4-0 movie magic from myself and Rich outside of Hillsborough. This week, Rich will be pleased to hear it doesn't involve him. There were a couple of mishaps, but I've picked out one specific mishap that I wanted to share with you all. And it's a rather self-deprecating one. Have a look. Today we are at the summit of a roller coaster that kicks off.
Kicks off what?
Kicks off.
Kicks off what?
Today we kick off a run of games. Today we kick off a run of. Yeah, that's part of the part and parcel of Fournilwrittenalloverit, written all over it, and it's the luck that we have that we are able to luckily be able to take bits and pieces out. Right, we're going to have a look across the league now and sort of review League One in general. There's a couple of standout games, couple of Fournilwrittenalloverit wins as well that I mentioned at the top of the show, and one little referee moment that I thought was really important that we share with everyone as well. So let's take a look at some of the results from. Oh no, we haven't got the results. We're not going to look at. We might be able to look at the results. Can we look at the results? I don't think we can look at the results. We can definitely look at the upcoming fixtures for Pompey, though. And we'll also look at the table at the end of this as well. But Cardiff City is the next one on Tuesday night. Then it's away to Cheltenham, as we've been discussing. Then back-to-back home games. Pompey against Cambridge United and Bristol Rovers at Fratton Park. Then we're all off to Port Vale to watch us on the last weekend of August. An EFL Trophy match against Crawley is then followed by Peterborough United at home. Peterborough United are the only team to have a perfect record thus far this season. With at the moment Pompey, I think we're about 18th at the moment, which is not the best, but we haven't had the sharpest of starts. There were 2 4-0s across the division. Particularly, Mike, I wanted to ask you about Peterborough and how much of a force you think they'll be this season, and your general predictions as a whole, because we didn't speak to you when we did our League One predictions.
Yeah, I know you were asking the guys about where we'd finish at the end of the season. Yeah, I've got my ideas on that. But first, you asked me about the Peterborough. I think Peterborough will be a strong force this time. I'm not too sure how they'll get on when they come to us. I'd like to think that we could do them by that time, and we've gelled and we're clicking. And anybody that comes to us wouldn't like to come. Sorry about the parrots in the background. I think I better move outside and we'll close the door. But yeah, Peterborough are a strong force, and I can see us most probably having a bit of problems with them. As regards to predictions for the rest of the season, I think somebody mentioned that 5 or 6, and I think that's going to be my prediction, really, that I think 5 or 6 would be good for us, but I'd like to think we could go higher. It depends how quickly get this gel going and start rattling in the goals that we should be scoring.
And Sean, just to look ahead to Cardiff City, what would you envisage and expect from a game like that, and potentially a lot of changes? Danny Cowley said.
Yeah, I see it as a chance to get some of the ideas that he has to out pitch and see how they go. I'd be expecting to see the new players getting some good minutes in. I'll be expecting to see, hopefully, I think Dale's playing, isn't he? That's the idea. And maybe I'd like to see that partnership down the right with Swanson, see how that goes. And I'd like to see, again, having threats around the pitch. Can Jacobs play on the left? And can we keep him out there? Because he was quite creative out there. And can we get creativity elsewhere in the pitch? So, it'd be nice to see the new lad just signed from Crewe, Tom Lowry. Nice to see how he fits in, and maybe drop Thompson to the bench and see how things go.
Gaz, Matty said season is still young, doesn't look at the table until about 5 games in. How long is it going to be before you start looking at the table, or are you indeed looking at it right now and thinking, why are we 18th?
No, I mean, for me, it's always Christmas. I always look at sort of like the Christmas period time, see where we've been. You've almost played everyone. You've watched a lot of highlights from other teams. So yeah, for me, the first sort of half season is all not gelling, but get to know each other. After Christmas, that's the final push. Then hopefully by Christmas, we're there and thereabouts. Plus, obviously, we've got these, maybe a cup run or something. But for me, Christmas is the sort of the key time to really judge the squad. For me personally,
Christmas, Rich, does that sound about right?
I'm sort of looking now. Really, it's just nice to have a butchers to see. When you got teams like your Peterboroughs, another win. Like your Exeter's climbing up, your Accringtons. They're the sort of teams that we're going to be going to, but they're going to be coming to us that we need to perform. They're the ones when we looked at last year. Certainly the Accringtons. They were sort of the mid-table up, weren't they? Pretty much most of the season. They can be a bit of a bogey team. Where we need to get the results. And yeah, so I think it's just a matter of thing, isn't it? On a Saturday night, you just scroll through. You click on tables, have a look. Oh, right, okay. Or with that, it's like what we were. What was it, 7th or 6th, and suddenly 18th? It's a big drop. But Lincoln saying that they were glad, pleased with the point. I actually think that was a loss for us yesterday. Where we could have had the 3 points.
We could have done. Just quickly before we continue the discussion, this happened elsewhere. It's actually happened, I believe, it was at the New Meadow, Rich. Actually, they Shrewsbury were playing Accrington, and Accrington came away with all 3 points. There was a fabulous moment I don't know when it was. I think it was sort of the tail end of the second half. Bit of a referee performance moment that you may or may not have seen circling on social media. I'm just going to play the clip now. So this is the ref. He gives him a yellow, he gives him another yellow, and then straight away, that's a red card. So if we read the lips, he goes, yeah, 1 for the push, 2nd for dissent, next one's a red, see you later. So I just thought that might have been worth pointing out to everyone. I don't know if anyone saw that over the weekend. But it shows that they're cracking down on it, aren't they, Gaz? And the time wasting element of it, I wanted to mention as well. We had 8 minutes added on at Fratton Park because of the simulation from Lincoln City. So your initial reaction to, not specifically that video, but the sort of the way they're going about things as a whole this season.
Yeah, well, we know that refereeing isn't the greatest in League One. We've seen it in the past where, sometimes the referee is either for you or against you, and that's it, full stop. You don't sort of you get it all the time. But yeah, with regards to time wasting, things like Wickham, we've seen it in the past. Even like Danny's done it now when they're, in past games, and the previous guest who's just been on said that he installed it at Lincoln. So yeah, if referees are picking up on it, we're going to have to be careful for sure.
Sean, we were actually quite pleased, weren't we, that he added on 8 minutes of extra time, and the fact that we actually got to play our football, albeit perhaps not quite as got in the groove. And Rich said we're never going to score anyway, but nice to see that they're recognising it.
It is, and hopefully the game will then become a bit more free flowing because players will then stop doing it and be a bit more enjoyable to watch. I think it is frustrating. I know we do it as much as other teams when we go to other places and we're hanging on for dear lives, but actually that comes out of the game, it becomes more free flowing, more exciting, more energy you see. So from a spectator's point of view, it's got to be a good thing. I do think there'll be players in our squad who will need to watch it. A temperamental Irishman comes to mind. But other than that, I think we should be all right.
Rich, your kind of view on we saw it at Hillsborough, didn't we? It was it's a double-edged sword where we were sort of hanging on for dear life at the end of that game, and then teams will come to Fratton Park and they want to do the same. So it's a bit of a toss-up.
That's it. But I think we were part of it as well. I think yesterday, I think those areas, they go down. You're looking at that 70, 75-minute window, aren't you? Halfway through the second half, right? Get everybody to the side of the pitch. Everybody's having bottles, team talk, this, that, and the other, push out the game. And I think it's something we're going to see on a regular basis. I think any time wasting, I think the ref needs to issue a card straight away instead of because once the fans start getting on the back of the referee and that, it's going to be uncomfortable for him. So I would say get the player on a yellow card. That's the only way you're going to stop it. And if it means they've already had a yellow, and so what? They go off. They need to stamp that authority because, like Gaz said, the standard is very poor. 2 games that we've seen so far. Last week's was worse than yesterday, but yeah, stamp it down, clamp it out.
I think also there's definitely going to be a lot more injury time anyway, because obviously now with the extra subs, because the actual now that we can have these 5 subs, you're going to get guaranteed that not 1 minute or 2 minutes. I see we had 8 minutes the other day. I can see that going on for the rest of the season. So by then, if you're 3-0 up, then it's okay. But if you're squeaky bum time near the end, it's not a nice place to be, is it? When you're 2-2 with 5 minutes and it goes on the clock. It swings and roundabouts.
It is, and it's one of those things, isn't it, that you kind of, when it's with you, it's great, but when you it's the other way around, then it's not so good. Gaz, I wanted to ask you, it's kind of quite a broad question, but I think it's worth asking. Does anything that you saw from yesterday's performance change your mind about how you were feeling coming out of Hillsborough the weekend before?
I mean, I was buzzing from the Hillsborough game. Obviously, the first half was disappointing, but I saw something in the second half which I was really pleased about, and I thought the season's going to go our way. And now we've got these additions of these new players coming in. I thought, here we go. Yesterday was a little bit lackluster, and Danny mentioned it in his interview that there was a bit of a sickness bug going around. So we could say it was a one-off, but we've got these new players coming in. They're going to bed in and gel. But what I've seen so far through the transfer market and looking at the forthcoming fixtures, I'm really positive that Pompey are going to be up there and thereabouts.
Sean, do you buy the sickness bug argument? Is that just one that this is quite cynical of me, but has he whipped that out of his top drawer in terms of an excuse to kind of say, sorry, we weren't at it? Or do you think it's genuinely a bit of a kind of, sorry, we were a bit ill?
I think, Cowley, he says it as it is. He wears his heart on his sleeve. And I think that, I've no reason to discount it. We know that the team is still gelling. We know he hasn't got the players that he wants at the minute. And I think there were certain players who were off. Admittedly, they're the players that I think are probably on the wane on their time at Portsmouth. And people like Rico Hackett, I don't think we really know where his best position is. Is he a winger? Is he a wing back? Is he a midfielder? So I don't know. I personally think, he, Danny's probably saying it as it is, and it was an off day in combination with some new players not quite here yet, and therefore, watch this space. But I think the big standout for me was Michael Morrison. He looked assured at the back. We haven't had a player like that at the back since the days of Burgess. And he was very good. There was a miscommunication to him and the keeper over the header, but other than that, he didn't put a foot wrong. He looked, I was very happy with him. And they moved Raggett across the left-hand side, didn't they, for that? So it was quite good again. Back to the days of Burgess.
Rich, just looking ahead to Tuesday night, obviously Cardiff City. I know your son's going to be there. I'm going to be there. You're not quite going to be able to make it, but what are you anticipating from that game, and what are your thoughts ahead of it?
I'm looking at for minutes on the pitch for players who are currently on the bench. It's going to be a second string that are going to be out, and I think just fitness levels, isn't it? You know, get them levels back up. If there was the bug, you know, going round, you know, hopefully the ones that have supposedly had it, you know, they've shook it off and they'll get time on the pitch as well. And that's it. You know, it's just game time, isn't it? Getting that fitness up, you know, getting the time, as like Danny always alludes to, time on the grass, isn't it? You know, when they're training. So I think, you know, that's it. Whether we progress on further, you know, to be honest with you, I'm not too fussed. I'm not looking at it as I'll watch the match, but I'm not going to look at it as you know, unless we lose heavily, you know, then it might be slightly different. But you know, I'm sure Owen will let me know his thoughts when he comes back home. That's if he actually does get back home. That's having two partying in Cardiff on a Tuesday night.
That's it, mate. Only one place to be. Graham said 2-0 Pompey. He's going for a 1-0 Pompey. Adam's saying 2-1 Scarlet to start, hopefully. Dana said 1-2. The minutes are more important than the result. Sean, how do you feel about
that? It's going to be a hard game. Let's get it fair. You know, they're a good opposition. I just want to see us to be competitive. Like Rich says, get minutes in the guys. You know, try out the new partnerships, get them in. I would love a cup run, just purely because the more games helps the players gel. And we're getting a reasonable squad now where we've got almost 2 players for every position. So we can cope with it and bar a serious string of injuries. So a good cup run would be a good thing. And I'm positive, but I think it's going to be a close game.
Can I ask if any of you three have got a fan on your desk where you're sat?
No.
No one's got a fan on? No. Okay, fine. No worries. I could just, anyway, it doesn't matter. It's probably mine that I can hear through my feedback. Gaz, what's your score prediction for Tuesday? And are you looking at it with any importance?
No, I mean, for me, if you said promotion or a cup run, it's got to be promotion, isn't it? You know, it's nice to have a cup run, but for me, it's all about this league to get out of, which I'm desperate to get out of. Minutes on the pitch, like Richard and Sean have already elaborated on, which would be good. Come away with no injuries, which is obviously major important, because that's what we don't want. Because yes, it's nice to have these, 2 players in one position, but you know, you get one injury, you know, it's going to be not good. But for me, you know, I'll take a 1-0 Pompey.
Lovely. Right, well, it is time for opposition preview. 10 minutes left of the show. Let's have a look at next weekend's opposition. We're going to jump past Cardiff, back into league action. Cheltenham Town is Pompey's next destination on the road. Following our midweek Carabao Cup trip to South Wales, Pompey will journey back to the West Country, specifically the completely Suzuki Stadium, the home of Cheltenham Town. Last time around, our away following was left relatively disgruntled, to put it lightly. As a result of a 1-0 loss, which all but ended Pompey's push for promotion at the tail end of the last campaign. Cheltenham Town took a lot of people by surprise last season, having had what can only be described as a fantastic first League One season since their return to the Football League, winning the League Two title after 5 seasons. Last season's Player of the Season, Alfie May, has stayed at the club despite interest from elsewhere over the summer. Club legend Michael Duff left his job over the summer after 203 games in charge. The Robins more than held their own against Peterborough on the opening day. They fell to a 1-0 loss yesterday against Michael Duff's new side, Barnsley. Cheltenham Town in a nutshell there. Very grateful to Redford for spending a bit of time with us, mate. Good evening. How are you?
I'm good, mate. Thank you. Obviously, Cheltenham, it's a little bit of a sticky subject, bad start to the season, but I look forward to talking to you.
Good man. Well, I should say this isn't the first time that myself and you have spoken today. We did a preview for your channel earlier on this evening. You gave me a little bit of a kind of insight into what we can expect, but just talk us through your expectations for next weekend and what you boys are hoping, as my light goes off, what you're hoping to get out of it.
Okay, so the first 45 minutes of the season, I'm not even being funny, this was probably the best football I've ever seen us play. We were playing free-flowing attacking football, and then they made substitutions at the second half, and we kind of fell apart, and it wasn't really the best performance in our last match as well. But I'd say I'm really excited about the new signings like Jackson and Perry as well. And obviously we've still got Alfie May, which is obviously the best thing we can hope for. But I'm just expecting, I'm kind of hoping for a draw against you guys, because obviously it's a good side, and I think after losing Michael Duffy should struggle. And for the season, like I've heard a lot of people say, a lot of people think we're going to get relegated. I think we're going to stay up, but I'm just asking for a lower mid-table finish.
Excellent. And you don't know I'm going to do this, it's a little bit of a surprise for you, but you witnessed some serious scenes yesterday. Talk us through what you were partial to here. This is Bristol City Sunderland, I believe. Talk us through it.
Okay, so it was right. I can't believe what happened. Obviously, Sunderland brought some amazing away fans before the game. I had a chat with a few of them. One of them actually said 4-2, and I kind of laughed in his face. I was like, no way it's going to be 6 goals in the Bristol City game. We took the lead after a tap in, and they peppered us in the second half. Sunderland with a great finish, a ball into the box by Alex Pritchard, who is a great football player. And what a header, absolute away limbs. And for the second goal, I don't think he got it on there, but they actually broke the advertising boards, which I've never seen it before. So, yeah, great away fans. And will definitely be a time I go to Bristol City again. And
that one went a little bit viral for you over the weekend, didn't it? So I thought it was a bit of an honorary mention for the clip. That's all good. Let me switch the question around to you then. So what do you expect from this Pompey side? And what do you... Obviously, I've told you a little bit about what you can expect, but how are you feeling? And obviously, talk us through your emotions at the last game as well. So the 0-1 that we spoke about and we all weren't very happy about. I'm sure you were.
Yeah, so the last time, obviously, I didn't actually go to the game, which was Cheltenham's away day at Pompey. But when you came to Cheltenham, I thought Cheltenham played really well. We played free flow of football, and you didn't really touch that much of the ball. We had a lot of chances, and how we didn't walk away with at least 2 or 3 goals that game, I will be surprised. But obviously, a season can change a lot. Like you said, you've brought in a lot of new additions. We brought in a lot of new additions. And I just feel like it's going to be quite a close game. If we can get Lewis Freestone and Jackson getting the balls into the box and Alfie Mayen behind, we could be in luck. Because on the first game of the season, Lundulu played really well, hold-up play, perfect number 9 football. But yeah, my prediction for the game will be a 1-1 because even though obviously your last game didn't go as planned, scoring 3 headers, that's really hard to defend, especially considering we've lost our big centre-backs.
I don't think we could all cope with another draw, could we? That would be 3 on the trot. Just to say as well, I think it's important that I ask you this. What was the Michael Duff derby like yesterday in terms of that kind of the dynamic between the two sides? And did he give you a big old round of applause, or was it a bit more of a kind of let's move on from it?
It was quite a respectful, all I can say. But one thing I do have to shout out is my mate Tyler. He got kicked out the away end and had to watch it in the home end. So all the home players walked past him and took photos. And he was like, I don't know who this is, but yeah, it was quite a respectful result, and it was a good away day from all the people that I know that went.
Okay, cool. So hopefully that's not going to be reflected in the home game for you, but we shall see. Gents, anything that you wanted to throw at Redford while we've got him regarding Cheltenham Town?
I say from our side, I think we've got to be very careful, haven't it? Because 3-2 against Peterborough. I believe you're 2-0 up, weren't you, as well? And then you've got a 1-0 loss Barnsley. Barnsley is a strong team. 2 teams that just come down from the Championship, and it's close, isn't it? So I think we've got to be very careful. When we go there next Saturday to actually get a result. And I think if we were to get a draw, then
ouch.
Oh my word! What is going on here? Sean, how are you feeling about the Cheltenham game?
No. I'm optimistic. I think Cheltenham, we know they are, as he alluded to, is just basically they're a free-flowing side, very attacking, but they can see goals. So, we are solid at the back. It just depends on how Danny sets us up. It depends how the relationship on the right side, I think, for us develop. I think it'll be a tough game. I think there'll be goals in it both sides. It's just whether I'd like to see a high scoring game. Actually, I think it'd be quite entertaining as long as we can keep our defense solid. We'll be all right. I think we'll come out on top, but I think there'll be a lot of goals in it.
Just
Gaz,
quickly,
go on, mate, go for it.
Obviously it's a battle of the goalkeepers. You've got an ex-Cheltenham keeper, we got a current one. Both goalkeepers haven't really had the best start to the season, but I would like to have a quick shout out to Southwood because, yes, he conceded 3 goals in the first game, and so he's conceded 4 goals total. But some of the saves he was making in that first and second half of that first game, I think he's got real potential for the season. I know Griffith's quality, so yeah, I think that'll be a good matchup. But just one more thing. a lot of people call us little old Cheltenham. Do you think Cheltenham is an easy fixture, or would you say it's a quite competitive game in the league?
I don't think there's any.
Easy. Oh, go on, Sean. Go.
Well, I don't think there's any easy games in this league, and there are teams like Gaz mentioned before that we need to pick points up against, and it is those lower end, but they're the banana skins of the division, and I don't think any team are easy. But I think Cheltenham in particular have a goal scoring threat about them, so we have to be on top form basically. It'll be difficult, but I think we can do it. But I think it'll be a close game, and hopefully lots of goals.
Gaz, how you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first few games of the season that everyone's trying to find their feet. So for me, it's after Cardiff, see how we get on Cardiff. But the Cheltenham game, I see that as another stepping stone in the right direction for us. Yeah, I'm open for a win, obviously, but we'll see how we get on.
Amazing. Redford, thank you so much for spending a bit of time with us, mate. Really appreciate you coming on to let us dissect and preview the Cheltenham game. Where can we find you on YouTube? What's the place to be for Cheltenham content? Tell us.
All right, thank you. So obviously I'm a Cheltenham fan, but I don't just Cheltenham games too. It's called The Fans Perspective. I'm going to loads of games like Bristol, Coventry, Southampton. Not going to go on too long, but yeah, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to The Fans Perspective. And yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on.
That's all right, mate. We'll see you next weekend.
Bye.
This is how we're looking ahead of the upcoming week or so. Cardiff City is our next one away from home. We've been chatting about. We've also been chatting about Cheltenham away as well. 2 back-to-back home games, Cambridge and Bristol Rovers. Then Port Vale away is on the final weekend of August. Then that's going to look like it's going to be a tricky one, that Peterborough game, as they are, as you can see, top of the league right now. A perfect record right now. They are the only side in the division to do so. Rich is back with us, I believe. Nope, he's not. He's not back with us at all. Right, we'll go down to... We're dropping like flies. We'll go down to 3 for the last couple of minutes. We're only going to stick around for a little bit longer. So thank you to everyone who's managed to stick with us and see us through. I didn't think this was going to be such a disaster, but it has been. But you two have stuck with me. We've had no issues with you, so thank you. Gaz, just your final thoughts and a score prediction ahead of Tuesday. I think you may have already given us one for Tuesday night, but specifically next weekend, which is the all-important one.
Yeah, Cheltenham. I'm looking forward to Cheltenham. I'm going to go for a 3-0 win. I think more minutes on the training ground with Danny Cowley. These new players coming in. The formation is going to be a little bit different, so it will be totally different starting. I think from the Lincoln game, and I think a 3-0 win for Pompey.
Sean?
I'm going to go for 3-1 Pompey.
We take that with a maybe a bit of a mistake from Griffiths and Morrison at the back, but other than that, wonderful. Now this is a bit of an issue because this keeps going off. Luckily, we've made it through the hour, and I think we're just about there. So we'll leave you for now. Thank you to everyone for joining us. Green shirt just finally from Graham. It is wonderful, and Sean was sporting it yesterday, and it was absolutely superb. Peterborough do have Ben Thompson. That's a very good shout. Aaron on Facebook said, love the content, mate. See you at Cheltenham. Thank you very much. Sorry, it's been horrendous tonight. And we need a fan you internet for everyone. Yeah, normally, as you two can vouch, we run very, very smoothly around here. But on this occasion tonight, it's been a bit of a shocker. But thank you for sticking with us regardless. It's been a pleasure to bring this one to you. Gents, thank you as well. We've really enjoyed having you this evening. And thank you for sticking with us all the way through as well. Right, that's where we're going to leave you. Obviously, we should say we've got a long old week on the road. We're off to Cardiff City here on Fournilwrittenalloverit all over it. We're going to bring that one to you, and that light is doing my head in now. It's getting a bit ridiculous, isn't it? And then we'll be off to Cheltenhamshire, to Gloucestershire, to Cheltenhamshire to go and watch the game on Saturday. Hopefully that is better than the last time we played them. Next Sunday, oh my word, this is ridiculous, isn't it? It's not even funny anymore. Next weekend, we're going to have a bumper show. We've got to preview both the Bristol Rovers and the Cambridge games. We've got Alfie's coming on to preview Cambridge. We've got One Rovers Vlogs are going to join us for the Rovers preview as well. Leo says thanks to the great stream, adequate stream, we'll call it, Leo, tonight. Have a good week to Rob. Thank you very much. Thanks to Daniel. Thanks to Sean. Thanks to Jake. It was a bit of a shocker, but there we go. We'll move on to next week. Thank you, gents, for sticking with me. Take care, and we'll see you all on Tuesday night in South Wales. Take care. Bye for now.
Take care.
Yeah. Bye.